Welcome to the Operation Game Night podcast. Today, I, Travis Smith, am joined by my co-host and Pharaoh of the Nile, Clayton Gable. How are you doing, Clay?
I'm doing great, Travis. Thanks for joining me tonight. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Couldn't be better, because today we're talking about Ra, one of the best auction games ever made. Clay, what do you think about Ra? What are your takes on Ra?
Travis, is this in your top 10?
It's probably up there, honestly. It
might be our top 10. I don't remember.
I think it might have been like honorable mention, maybe.
Okay. Well, here's my hot take. Here's my tagline. This is our thumbnail for the episode.
Okay.
I think this week, Ra just moved itself up as my number one game of all time.
Really?
I think it has earned that place in my life. Yeah.
Dang.
That's how I feel about it.
That's a lot of games to play with or to compete against.
It is a lot of games to compete against, but I've played this so much now. I mean, almost more. It's definitely more than any other game that takes 45 plus minutes. I'm gonna dig into my stats here real quick.
Okay.
Why don't you give the people a brief overview of how Ra is played?
So Ra, more specifically, I'm going to talk the 25th century Pharaoh edition, because damn, that edition is so good. Designed by Reiner Knizia, art by Ian O'Toole, a legendary duo in their own right, created a legendary game, not Pharaoh edition, Sun God edition. That's the one with like the clicky clacky.
No, it's Pharaoh.
Tile. It is Pharaoh edition. Okay.
Yeah. Don't second guess yourself, Travis.
I know. I always
not
do.
Here on your podcast.
It plays 2 to 5 players in 45 to 60 minutes. Weight of 2.31 on BGG. And it's recommended for ages 12 and up. The community says nay, 10 and up. You can get this played with a 10-year-old. And this is an auction game where you are auctioning off sun tiles, which are of different values, to obtain tiles that are of different sets. And the sets might be monuments, it might be events, it might be crops, it might be floods, it might be, a whole bunch of different stuff that you're trying to collect for. And the kicker of this whole game is that the auction can trigger at any time. You either draw a Ra tile out of the baggie, which we know Jared would love to talk about right now. Drawing out of the baggie feels really good. Or at any time on your turn, you can grab the Ra, the big statue in the middle, the big pharaoh statue, and say, I declare Ra, and start the auction immediately. You get one chance to go around, right? Or it just goes around until
one chance. One chance
to go around the horn and bid your sun tiles that you have available to you. If you win, you collect all those tiles that are out there, and you swap your sun tile with the one that was up for grabs. And this is the kicker of this whole game, is that you cannot just infinitely increase your bids. You have to play with the sun tiles that are given to you. Once you have bid with one of your sun tiles, you collect the new one. The new one goes face down to be played the next turn. So not only are you bidding to collect as many tiles as you can, to collect those sets, to score those rounds in the epic that you're playing. What do you say? Epoch?
Epic. I would call it an epic.
Yeah, epic. Okay.
Yeah.
But you're also setting yourself up for future epics with your additional sun tiles. What did I miss, Clay?
Okay. That's a good overview. Some of the things that's the basics. Some of the things that also make it interesting is that these tiles you collect come in 2 varieties, right? You have your tiles that will persist throughout the whole game. So your monuments, you can collect them across all 3 epochs. You have your pharaoh tiles that persist, and you have your river tiles that persist.
That's right.
The other side of the board, you have tiles that get cleared at the end of the round. So you have things like civilization tiles, and those are ones that you at least want to get one of, because if you don't get one of them, they're the white tiles, you lose 5 points that round. And so every round you're like in this scramble, like I better get my civilization tile or I'm going to lose 5 points. And then the flood is also one that you have to get rid of every round. And the flood is a prerequisite to make all your river tiles score.
That's right.
So over here on my left side of the board, I can have 7 river tiles that I've been collecting over the course of the rounds. Big points to be had. But if in this epic I didn't get a flood tile, those don't score me anything. So that's a really cool piece of the game too, is the persistent tiles versus ones that you have to keep reacquiring every round. Another thing that I really appreciate about Ra is the timer on the track. So there's Ra on a boat that, Travis mentioned, you can always grab the big chunky Ra statue and declare an auction for yourself. But, people are greedy for whatever reason. And, sometimes those auctions don't happen. But in the bag, there's a boatload of these red tiles, the Ra tiles. And if you pull one of those out on your turn, it immediately triggers an auction and it moves this boat on the track. And when that boat gets to the end of the track, the round is over.
Yep.
So more often than you would think, usually you have 3 to 4 sun discs that you can bid with each epic. And more often than you think it would happen, you can be holding out because you're sitting there and you're like, okay, I got the 16. That's the best sun disc. I'm going to get something great for this. And so you're waiting and waiting, but auctions keep happening and, nothing seems worthwhile throwing your 16 out on. But in that time, these red ones keep coming out and the boat moving down the track. And then when the last Ra tile gets pulled from the bag and you move to the final space, the auction doesn't even happen. So anybody that hadn't spent their sun discs sits there and looks like a doofus because they didn't get tiles. I mean, I've had times where I've, at 2 of my 3 sun discs, I didn't even use in a round. And that just happens because there is that element of chance when you're pulling those tiles from the bag and you take a gamble and hope that you're going to get something better and it doesn't end up happening.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that is the most interesting part of this game is that anybody can trigger that auction at any time. It's not a set pacing at which those happen. And so you can really put the pressure on people and put the screws to people to force them to make difficult decisions with their sun tiles that they have left. If I'm behind and I have like a 1, 2, and a 3 sun tile, the chances of me winning something out there are slim to none. Like if we get into a bidding war, right? If I grab that Ra tile early on before all the good stuff gets out there, I might be able to sneak away with a couple of tiles that could set me up for later rounds. And I know that I'll be guaranteed to upgrade my sun tile that I have for the next epic. So there's like some serious swings to this that make this game just so tasty.
Oh my God. It's good.
I get all fired up just talking about this game.
You just live in each other's heads the whole game because you can see exactly what everybody has. You can see what they're collecting. You can see what might be valuable to them. You can see what sun discs they have. And you're like, how long do I let this lot build up before I pull the trigger on this auction?
Yeah.
Because, it's just trying to figure out what other people are valuing this thing at. And that's also a tricky part about this game because first time you play, you're kind of like, most people the first time I play, they have an okay time, but just because they don't quite understand the pacing and the value of things and they either end up blowing their load really early. They're like, well, this is easy. I can win every auction. And they're like winning these lots of 2 and 3. And then they're like sitting there for the next 20 minutes while everybody else finishes out the epic. Or they go the other route and play way too conservative and don't bid on anything and end up, ending the round with no tiles. And then they feel bad because they've lost points. So it does, although it's not hard to teach, but it is hard to get people to understand what they should be doing and what's a smart play. Because, you can throw it all away in this game by making some poor bids.
Yeah. I think while I did say that it's very swingy and that you have some power if you are limited in the sun discs that you can bid. I think that if you get off to a bad start that first round, it is so hard to come back from in those future epics. If that first epic goes poorly for you and you're not sitting on the monument tiles you need to be, or the river tiles, or the ones that persist, man, that is a uphill climb, and it becomes so difficult to claw your way out in those second and third epics.
Yeah, that's for sure. We just had that last night when we played with Brittany. She, again, it was her first time playing, and she was overzealous and was like, "Oh hell yeah, you guys bid a 3 and a 4. I got a 15. I'll take those two." And then she, ended the round and didn't have a civilization tile. She was in last place for the pharaohs, so she lost 7 there, and she had only collected monuments, so there was no positive points. And her first round ended with like a -7 score, which she didn't love, and I can see why. But it's just one of those things you gotta learn in the school of hard knocks when you're playing raw.
And you mentioned that this one comes. It has a benefit to playing it multiple times, right? Like once you understand the flow and the pacing of the game, you get a lot smarter with how you allocate your sun discs. This is one that you and I and Rachel and Mary sat down and played like back to back at Dice Tower West. Yeah, that was the first time I had ever played it, and it got better and better every time. We played this one and High Society so many times at Dice Tower West.
Yes.
And people go out of their way at Dice Tower West to play these games at like
the hotness.
Yeah, the hotness, or like
this was before this version, by the way.
Yeah, that's true. With the old cardboard tiles and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was like an instant back for me when 25th Century put this out there on Kickstarter, because damn, this game is so good. I want to play it now. I gotta get a crew together.
There are so few games that I like genuinely feel like they get better every time I play.
Yeah.
And every time I play this game, I just see some new interaction, and I appreciate, even if I'm not in the round anymore, just seeing what people do. Like, oh my God, is he going to bid on that? Or are they going to try and take it with this tile? Oh my gosh, is he going to pull it just is such an interactive game, and it has strategy, and it has depth, and it has push your luck. I mean, the way to get back is to hope to God that you're like left as the only one at the end of the round.
Yeah.
Everybody else has spent all their discs, and you're there with your one value sun disc, and you can just fill the entire auction row up
until you draw a sun
until you draw that raw thing and you lose it all. But I mean, it gives you those stand-up moments, and man, it is good. There was something else I was going to say. Go ahead, Travis.
I just want to say that it feels great to grab that pharaoh statue off the middle of the table too. It just sits out there. It's eyeing everybody as that row fills up, and people are sitting there like eyeing the thing every time another tile comes out. They're looking at their sun tiles. They're looking at the raw statue. Like, who's going to pull it? Is it time yet? And people are all sitting there wringing their hands, waiting for that next pull out of the bag. Man, and you mentioned this is jumped to the top of your list. If we're talking games that I have played this year, this one is definitely in the top 10, because I did play this one multiple times this year, and it never gets old. It's so good. Do you remember what you were going to say?
I'm circling it in my mind. It is something to do with those. Oh, I think Paul Solomon said something about it. Like, how you think it's good to have the 16.
Yep.
But then you think it's good to have that biggest tile, and it feels powerful. Yeah. But then you get greedy, and nobody is going to, as smart players are not going to let that thing fill up. Mm-hmm. So then it does force you into those decisions. And then if you wait too long, everybody is already out of the round, and you still have your highest tile. And then you end up winning a lot with something you could have won with something much smaller.
Yeah.
So it just has that perfect balance. Like it's just mathematically brilliant, and the interaction is beautiful.
Because Paul Solomon said on Decision Space that this was his top game. This was his favorite game that he played this year. And yeah, I love that analysis. Like whether you have the 1 or the 16, you are faced with a decision in there that is like excruciating. Yeah. Anywhere in between those two, like in those middle, like 7, 8, 5, like you've got some wiggle room and you can kind of manipulate players and manipulate that decision space a bit to make the most of what those tiles can give you. But those like 1s, 16s, 15s, 2s, like you got to be savvy and know when to strike. Otherwise, you're going to end up sitting on them till the end and it gets you nothing.
Nothing at all.
I love that. It's so good. What a good take.
Yeah. And just shout out to the Decision Space guys. Like if our bumbling around about Ra sounds interesting to you, go listen to their episode about Ra, because they talk about it for like an hour and a half and just dive into every juicy decision in this game at a level that we could never dream of. But I will tell you, this is now my favorite game of all time. I don't see that changing. This is just that game that just works well at 3 players. It works well at 5 players.
Yeah.
And it's just right in that sweet spot of like 45 to 60 minutes and simple enough to teach. Like, and the interaction is there. This is not a face down tableau builder. Everybody's doing their own thing. Everybody is very involved in every pull from the bag. Like there is not a moment when you are not engaged in this game. So yeah, hats off.
Not only is it engaging, it's cutthroat. It is cutthroat because everyone can see what you need and they're going to do everything they can to not let you get that thing. And it gets so spicy so fast.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We don't need to beat the dead horse, but I would, play Ra.
Go play Ra. Go find a copy of Ra, new or old. If you can find the nice acrylic tiles with the big chunky Ra statue, good on you. If not, go buy a copy from 1999 and it's just as good. It plays just as smart, just as fast, just as cutthroat.
Yeah.
It's always good.
Did we put this on the Mount Rushmore?
We should. I think we did, actually.
I think we did. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this one's on there.
Yeah. We've talked about this plenty of times, but we wanted to give it its space to breathe, in a dedicated episode. Not a decision space episode.
Also go listen to Decision Space.
Yeah. We let it breathe a little bit. They put that thing on oxygen, and that is full of life.
Yeah. Speaking of Decision Space, I really want to talk to you about the interview with Cole Worley that he just did.
Oh my God.
I want to do a whole, let me listen to it 6 more times and then we're going to have a discussion about it because my mind is blown.
I think our podcast should just be like, how there's podcasts that like just do follow-ups of TV shows. We should just do the Decision Space fan cast and just be like, whoa, that was awesome when Paul made that point about this. And
yeah, we'll have to do an update every once in a while.
Yeah.
It's so good. Man, I love that podcast. Anyways, for the only board gaming podcast for board gaming outsiders, this has been Operation Game Night. I have been Travis. He has been Clay. We have been talking Raw by Reiner Knizia, and we are out.